All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our RBT practice question series, where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our studies materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. Gina, a new barista, is learning to operate an advanced espresso machine. Her coworker demonstrates how to insert the filter and, when Gina struggles, briefly guides her hands into the correct position. As Gina improves, her coworker reduces the amount of guidance given, which prompting strategy is illustrated by the coworker inserting the filter. We have a prompting question, and the most important part of this question is to focus on what the question is asking you. The question wants to know about the coworker inserting the filter. So we know Gina is learning this machine, and her coworker is doing several things. One, she demonstrates how to insert the filter. So when we're talking about demonstrating doing something, we're referring to some sort of modeling. Then Gina is getting physically prompted because the coworker is guiding her hands into the correct position. And then her coworker is reducing the amount of guidance given to some sort of prompt fading. Now, again, we have to focus on what the question is asking about, which is the coworker inserting the filter. So, which prompting strategy is related to inserting the filter? A, full physical. Well, we know physical prompting was used because the hands were guided into the correct position, but we're not concerned necessarily with that prompt. We're looking at inserting the filter. So, same with B, partial physical. We're looking at the idea of this demonstration, which is going to be modeling. The coworker modeled how to insert the filter. And then D, graduated guidance. Again, some sort of fading strategy. Perhaps graduated guidance was used, but it's irrelevant to what the question wants us to answer, which is what is illustrated by the coworker inserting the filter. And to answer that question, we would have to call that C, modeling. A restaurant manager wants employees to check food temperatures using a thermometer that has a bright pink sticker on it. Over time, the manager gradually removes the bright sticker, leaving just the standard thermometer. Employees continue checking food temperatures correctly, even without the sticker present. What procedure is the manager using relative to the reduction of the sticker? Okay, another prompting style question. Again, what is the question asking? It's asking about the reduction of the sticker. We know the manager is trying to get employees to use this thermometer, so he puts a bright pink sticker on it. It's going to be that visual prompt to use that thermometer. Now, as time goes on, as we should, the manager starts to remove the sticker. He starts to fade the prompt. Even though he fades the prompt, employees are continuing to check temperatures. Now, what we're focused on here is the reduction of that sticker, the removal of that sticker. What is that procedure called? A, extinction. With extinction, we're just withholding reinforcement for a previously reinforced behavior. There is no indication extinction is going on. We're not sure what consequences the manager is using. We're focused on that reduction of the sticker. So B, stimulus fading is what we're looking for. Prompt fading is also known as stimulus fading because we are reducing the stimulus or reducing the presence of a stimulus, like a prompt, or in this case, the bright sticker. We're fading out the stimulus. C, generalization. I'm sure the manager would love generalization, but nothing in the question hints at us thinking about generalization of this behavior. We're looking at the reduction of the sticker. And then D, prompting. Yes, the manager was prompting with the bright pink sticker, but we're looking at the reduction of that prompt. And when we're talking about reduction of the prompt, or reduction of the sticker in this case, we're going to be talking about B, stimulus fading. Focus on what the question is asking. The college gym implements a new policy for student athletes who repeatedly leave equipment on the floor. Each time they do so, they must clean an entire section of the gym. After this policy starts, fewer student athletes leave equipment scattered around. Which principle most likely explains the change in leaving equipment out? So we have a principle question, and principles are typically reinforcement, extinction, and punishment. So are consequences. It's also a behavior change question, change in leaving equipment out. So with consequences, we need to know, was the behavior increased or decreased, and was something added or taken away? Now we know after the policy, Fewer student athletes were leaving equipment around. So we can say that behavior decreased if fewer people were doing it. So then we have to ask ourselves, was something added, withheld, or taken away? Because extinction or punishment are going to decrease. We know it's not reinforcement. The college gym had a policy where if you left stuff out, you would have to clean an entire section of the gym. So they're adding this punishment as a result of leaving things out. So if we're adding something that is decreasing behavior, what is that called? A, positive reinforcement, B, negative reinforcement. Well, we know both of these are going to increase behavior, and we have a reduction. So it can't be A or B. C, positive punishment. Well, positive punishment is going to decrease. Positive we're adding, that's exactly what we came up with. We predicted that answer. It looks like positive punishment. And then D, negative punishment would decrease, but we're taking something away. That's not what we concluded from our information. It's not going to be D. The principle most likely that explains the change in leaving equipment out is C, positive punishment. A behavior technician, upon reviewing data from a previous session, notices that they've been taking behavior data incorrectly for the last 2 weeks. The data are now likely inaccurate and significantly different from the other team members' data. What should this behavior technician do now? This can be a difficult spot to be in as a technician when you realize you've made a mistake. So this technician, when they were reviewing the data, figured out they'd been taking data incorrectly for 2 weeks. Now, it could be a long time depending on how many sessions, but they figured it out. The data are inaccurate and different from other team members' data. Long story short, data aren't usable, right? We've got to get rid of this data. It's incorrect. Now, the technician has discovered this mistake. What is their next step? Because they've made a mistake, and that can be hard to admit, but we can't go on taking bad data and we can't use bad data. So, what does this technician need to do now? A, go back through the last 2 weeks of data and make necessary changes. No, the data are done. It's already been collected. Nothing we can do now. Do not retroactively change data. That's just not a good representation of what is actually going on. It's a very poor thing to do to try and go back and change data that have already been taken. B, begin taking data the correct way immediately. Absolutely. We've caught the mistake. Now we correct the mistake. Mistakes happen. We've got to correct them. C, inform their supervising analyst of the mistake. 100%. Not only are we going to do it right, we've got to tell the analyst about our mistake because they have to know that some data aren't usable. They might need to retrain us. They just have to know what's going on their case. You're on the team, but they're ultimately in charge of the case and responsible for the case. So you need to correct the mistake and then inform the supervisor of what is happening. You've got to have an open, clear line of communication at all times with your supervisor. Alina is learning a new software system with multiple steps: logging in, selecting a project, opening relevant files, and finally editing a report. She first masters logging in, step 1, while her colleague assists with the other steps. Next, she practices logging in and selecting a project. Then she adds step 3, and so on until she can complete the entire process independently. Which teaching method is most demonstrated by this scenario? Straightforward chaining question, right? We're looking at a teaching method, and we know Alina is learning a system with multiple steps. Immediately, when we see multiple steps, we've got to think chaining. Someone's analyzed this task, and the steps are logging in, select project, open files, edit report. So if we're going to start, or Alina's going to start with step 1, and then assistance for the rest of the steps, and then steps 1 and 2 in assistance, and then steps 1, 2, and 3 in assistance, what does that look like? Well, that clearly looks like some sort of forward chaining. Backwards chaining would be the opposite. We would be prompted 4. We would be prompted 3, 4, prompted 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. Total task chaining is going to be the whole chain all at once. If we're starting with this first step and then gradually adding in as we go, teaching 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and having them do it independently until they can do the whole chain, or we're starting with the beginning, it's clearly going to be forward chaining. Chaining is usually as simple as that. Where are we starting? With what step? What are we adding in? Shaping shouldn't be on the table. is shaping used in chaining, of course, but we're not looking at shaping necessarily in this question. Thanks for watching. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on social. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.